Hey everyone, it's William Tackett here and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, I do rolling commentary rounds of some sparring sessions either inside my gym or match competition footage. So I'm able to explain what's going on throughout commentary and help you guys better understand and even learn some things while watching the rolls. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Before we get started, please subscribe and like the video so you don't miss any future content. I upload content weekly, so don't miss out on that. Let's get into it now. Thank you for the support of the channel. Here is some footage that I caught in our training room at the Brazilian Fight Factory here in Austin, Texas. It's Tiffany Butler here on top against JT Little on bottom. They're both competitors, both really tough purple belts, and both fairly young. Tiffany's only 18 years old, and JT's either 20 or 21, not quite sure, but he's also really young. Tiffany looks for that side-to-side motion here and actually lands in a knee slice. Is able to get a cross face and an underhook. Really strong positioning when trying to pass your opponent's guard. It helps pin their upper body to the mat while you can focus on passing their hips. And notice that shoulder pressure from Tiffany. It makes it hard for JT to be able to turn and look at her and get back to his guard. As he turned, she ended up stepping over and hitting that far side armbar. Actually got the finish. Really nice submission there and good transition there by her. JT now scooting forward in his open guard as they reset, looking for wrist control here. He has those mercy grips. He gets a grip behind her knee and actually sets in that false reap as he spins under and starts to look for the heel hook. Looks like he has the heel here and he actually gets exposure and gets the finish there on the inside heel hook off that false reap. Very, very nice attack and entrance there by JT. Tiffany decides to get right back to it, ends up pushing him back to his back and falling back on a leg lock here. Looks like she's trying to figure out which side she wants it to go on as she has her hand behind her opponent's knee, behind JT's knee. This is actually a really good grip to keep your opponent from backing up and sliding out and freeing their knee line. And just a nice little control she has there. She ends up actually letting it go and decides to put both hands on his foot there, maybe to set up that foot lock. As you can see, she's trying to fall back and go for it now. She's using her legs to kind of off balance JT and stretch him out in hopes of getting that foot lock, but it looks like JT has now settled into a nice passing position here, which is a double underpass. He ends up passing her leg to one side, putting a lot of weight on her. A really good pass that you're going to go for if your partner's flexible. He actually changes it now to a leg drag position here and has that almost like a cross face, almost an arm triangle grip here where he has that head on the arm, similar to what Tiffany had here on top when she was on top. It's a nice position, as I was mentioning, really keeps her partner flat, and he starts putting a lot of weight. Looks like she taps there. I know she has a neck injury, so they might just be really being cautious of that, but they end up resetting here and now back up onto their feet, and Tiffany decides to pull guard and lay to her back. Uses a shin on shin to nice wrestle up there by her where she uses that shin on shin to rock back to her feet and get the single leg, land back on top and get that underhook. Now she's settling into this mounted position where she almost has cleared one of JT's arm. She might be setting up a triangle here. She does love triangles. She does. She falls back to her back here now and starts to break JT's posture. Now this is a really good example of a lot of different intricate triangle adjustments and to get that finish. I believe they sit here for about a minute or two, and Tiffany constantly makes some nice adjustments. Notice how she has her legs locked on the wrong side. That's because JT's doing a good job at keeping his elbow on the side that she doesn't want it. So it makes it hard for her to lock her legs on one side. So she locks them on the opposite side, and if you notice now she's trying to focus on passing that arm from one side to another, but she's even hooking his leg here in hopes of getting finish on this side. You can finish people in triangles with the legs locked on this side, but it's not quite as tight. She's actually using her fist there in JT's neck to try to get the finish by closing off that side of his throat by pushing her fist into his neck and then squeezing with her legs. Might not have too much success here. As you can see, JT's able to posture out and hand fight there, but she now switches to the correct side of the triangle. She now had the adjustment necessary to get the lock on that side, and it should start getting a whole lot tighter here now. So JT still has his arm on that opposite side that she doesn't really want it on, but since she has her legs closed, she should start be able to apply some finishing pressure and at least be able to hold him and keep his posture broken, because she has a good grip with her hand on her shin there. She has her knees nice and close to her chest. She's not being stacked. She's able to shoulder walk backwards, and it looks like it's getting really tight. JT is not doing a whole lot to defend here. It looks like it's getting a little bit too far gone. He might want to try to start posturing up and stacking her if he was able to, but like I said, she's holding her shin and it's preventing him from doing so. As he stands up here, he starts to fall back down, and it looks like either she lets go or he gets a tap, not quite sure, but he kind of looks like he went asleep just a little bit there, a little bit sleepy, but that's because that triangle was just so tight and it was locked on that correct side. She wasn't able to pass the arm, but since when he stood up and then fell back, it kind of lined his shoulder directly into his neck, and she was able to get that finish. Now they reset here. He's working for that knee slice that she had hit earlier on. He has the underhook and he's trying to pass to that side, but she was able to scoop that far leg and use that to actually get onto the top position. So nice little defense there by Tiffany and good attack there by JT. He has a good sit-up guard looking forward or scooting forward here. She hits like a nice almost cartwheel pass over the top and then lands in this knee slice again. As you can tell, one of her favorite passes. She hits that same head and arm positioning. Heavy knee slice here. She has good head positioning. She doesn't quite have JT's shoulders flat, so that's what she really needs to look to do. And as you can tell, as she gets his shoulders flat, she's able to land past his guard into the side control. She starts to cross all the way into the mount position. She's able to do so because she has the crossface and the underhook. There's not much resistance there, and now she's able to settle here into the mount. Looks like she's trying to go for a mounted triangle here again because I saw her posting that wrist, and she's able to kick over and basically land in this loose triangle. She doesn't have it fully locked up yet, but on her way there, she's able to hold her ankle and start to use her hips to wedge JT's elbow up closer to his head. She's starting to get a little bit high here, so she does need to sit her weight back. He's almost about to slip out the back door. If I was her, I would look to control an arm now. Hook his arm the way you would with an arm bar, and maybe either transition to arm bar or just be able to not miss position. But since she was too high and he started to wedge his way out, he was able to get back to his knees and hit this takedown to land now almost in a pass position. He blocks her hip, which is a really good thing to do whenever they're holding that guillotine. It prevents them from wrapping you up with their legs and allows you now to walk around either into this north-south position like he's doing, or all the way around like he just did now into that back control, where he's able to pull her all the way to the side where his hook is and then look to get his opposite hook in. He's on top now with that turtle in the seat belt. He starts to pull her over to his side, which is definitely the right thing you want to do, but he's having a hard time at opening her up. Now this is a suggestion that I would do is if you guys could cross your ankles below their butt where JT's feet are, then you can use that seat belt and the feet cross to really bridge into your partner's back and then almost pry them open to get that hook in. But since she's able to stay nice and tight, it's going to be hard to get that hook in unless you're able to bridge into their back and open them up. From here, she does the right thing and ends up switching sides to where his hook lands on the top, and she's able to get her shoulders and back to the ground. She's now settled into almost a half guard here, almost a Coyote Lucas Leite style half guard, but JT's able to keep his knee open and almost sit to this armbar position here, where she barely pops her head out the back door and is able to get her guard back almost into a back control position here where she could hit that kiss of the dragon, but ends up just taking the top position and getting to her feet from here. She changes from side to side, goes for that pass, keeps circling to the head, and JT's doing a good job of keeping his frames in and then keep replacing his guard here. I would say that Tiffany needs to not just pass to one side, but then go from one to another. Whenever they commit with their frames and then their feet on your hips, it makes it easy now to just change to the other side because everything's committed to one side. But she's doing a good job at passing from to that left side, but she just needs to now go from left to right to make it a little bit easier to pass the guard. JT's using that 2-on-1 control, really strong control whenever you're playing guard. It helps a lot to get control over your partner because there's not the grips there are in the gi. You can't get sleeve control, so 2-on-1 is the next best thing. He's able to use it to pull her into the closed guard and start looking for that hip bump sweep, but now he hits this really nice triangle where he shrimps onto his side, clears her elbow, and then when he rocks back flat, he had that triangle. He ends up letting it go to look like he's entering into maybe the 50-50 through a K-guard entry, and he does. He enters into now an inside Ashigurami and gets that heel hook grip again. Not quite sure if he's able to get the finish here. She has really small feet and hard to grab, and as you can tell, good defense. She keeps spinning to that side and hiding her heel, doing everything right, and there the timer ends. All right, everybody, so that's the end for today. If you want to support the channel and support me and my career, please go to bjjfanatics.com and buy 1 or 2 of my instructionals. I have 2 instructionals up right now. I have a body lock passing to the back instructional that I use all the time. If you've watched any of my matches, I always take the back and I always use the body lock pass. And you can check out my positional escapes instructional. If you watch some of my previous matches at the ADCC trials, I got stuck in some pretty bad spots and was able to get out and even submit a lot of my opponents. So I use that all the time. All the escapes that I show on that instructional, I use in the gym, I use in competition, and feel free to check those 2 out. They'll help elevate your game to the next level, and they really help me because I get a cut of it. So it helps support my journey, helps support the YouTube account, and just makes all this possible for you guys. So if you like the videos, I do 1 every single week. So I'll be uploading 1 a week for, as long as you guys keep enjoying them. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps keep the channel alive. And I'll just see you in the next video, everyone. Thank you so much, and God bless. See you in the next one.